Hi guys, more bus conversion videos. Enjoy. So to anchor the bottom of the studs off, I can only get in here with my tool and crimp the stud on one side. I couldn't actually get into the other side of the stud, so I just notched a little hole in the side of the stud and banged a screw on that side and actually anchored it off to this rail, this steel rail that's fixed to the frame of the bus. So that's a good anchor point for the bottom of the wall. And then also so also I'm going through trying to anchor off the top of the wall as well. And to do that, I'm doing this whole thing on a budget. So like I could, go out and spend a whole bunch of money and buy all this fancy stuff and buy the material that's more suited, or I could just use some common sense and make it happen dirt cheap. So what I'm going to do is, like, this is a little piece of cyclone strap, and I've decided, instead of buying 90-degree right angles, that are ½ inch thick or whatever, and anchoring the top of the wall off to the frame of the bus that way, I figure they call this stuff cyclone strapping. They use it in buildings to strap the top plates and bottom plates of the wall together. They strap the walls, and effectively it is what it says. In the event of strong winds, it's going to stop the roof and the walls from flying away. It just locks them all in together. So this is cyclone proof strap. So I figure if I fold this into a 90-degree angle and make a 90-degree right angle, there's no reason I can turn this into a cyclone proof anchoring point. And if it's, if it's not going to blow away in a cyclone, it's not going to fall off the bus. So I've just gone through, made them to 90 degrees. Doesn't have to be pretty, just folded it in half. When you go to anchor this off, it's important that you put a screw, one of your button head screws. It's important you bang it right hard into the 90-degree angle, because it's going to stop by having the screw there right in tight into the 90-degree angle. It's going to stop that bend from moving and hold it in place. So kind of like, that's not the best example, but like what I've done in here, put that screw hard up into the 90-degree angle. So that's going to stop, that's going to hold that 90-degree angle true. And I tell you what, the bloody wall's not going nowhere. It's more than enough. So I'm going to put a couple of those right angles on every second stud, and just where I can. More so anchor off the top of the wall. One problem I have come across is accessing the right angle of the bracket. So here I've got the stud around the wrong way, so I actually can't, it's just going to be a pain in the ass. It's important, you probably plan ahead and think of which way the solid face of the stud needs to be facing. With me, I haven't sat down and drafted plans, or done any planning in regard to the build of this. I'm just doing it as I see fit, and whatever idea pops into my head at the time. You know, sit there and sort of just, you know, if I think it's going to work, I'm going to go ahead and do it. As simple as that. Thanks, sweetie.
That's okay.
It's cold.
I know. Because I didn't want to use too much hot water.
Is that the coffee that I made earlier and just left on the bench?
Yes. I thought the cup was empty, so I accidentally filled it up with water. So I put milk in it, and then I saw the tub that said coffee on it, so I grabbed a spoonful of that and put it in.
Of your mum's coffee? The Nescafe stuff?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Lila.
Okay.
It's the liquid stimulation I need to keep going.
there you go. Homemade right angle brackets to anchor your wall off. Made out of cyclone strapping. Cyclone proof. Okay.
Okay, so I've gone through and put a couple more in. So you get the idea. Where the right angle is, you want to bang a screw hard into that angle, and that stops the wall from coming this way. It uses the rigidness of the screw head to keep that strong 90-degree angle. By all means, this isn't a universal, this is how you do it and the only way to do it type thing. Like I always say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's multiple ways to do everything. So there's never one right way. There's many different ways. So I hope this just gives you an idea. If you got more money in your budget, sort of thing, you could probably go out and buy the right, proper right angles to do this. But with my experience and I'm quite confident that this would work just fine. So. Okay, so just been standing here staring at the wall, wondering how the bloody hell am I going to strap this wall up the top of the wall. So, you know, there will be a bit of weight on it. Might want to anchor stuff off to it later on, cabinets, cupboards or whatnot. And as it is now, I've only got the top track screwed into this aluminium bulkhead, and that's not a durable enough anchor. So I can't rely on that to hold the wall true and support all that weight, and also stop the wall from flapping and working its way loose like this when you're going down the road, going over bumps and humps and whatnot. So so I had an idea initially with this cyclone strapping, because they normally go from top plate to bottom plate on a diagonal and cross it over to lock the wall in. And that's what I was going to originally do. But in this case, I my solid anchor points are too far apart. I could go through down the bottom, and I can anchor the wall off along that metal track down the bottom to support the structure of the bottom of the wall and the floor plate. And then also I've come through and I've added in these angles where I can every so often, pretty much around the window where there's that RHS tubing I can anchor off into. But there alone is a problem, because up along the top of the window there's only an anchor point here and another one here, and they're about 1.6 or 1.8 metres away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this cyclone strapping. Instead of going diagonal from top plate to floor plate, I'm going to come across like this. Got it anchored into that solid anchoring point over there. I'm going to anchor it into this RHS, which is located right here between the two windows. So I'm going to anchor that off there, and then you can actually get cyclone strap tensioners, and they're just like a little U-shaped thing with a bolt. I'll go to the hardware shop and we'll get a few of these. Once I've got it anchored off into there, I'll allow a bit of slop, a bit of flex, a bit of play in the cyclone strap, and then I'll fix the tensioner and screw the tensioner up so it tensions these three studs hard in against the wall and just takes the weight. So if it ever wants to go this way at any stage, it's got the cyclone strap there taking a lot of the weight as well. So I'm going to do that along the top, probably do one along the middle, and I'll work that right the way along the wall on both sides. I don't think I need to worry about it here where these little nibs are. They're only 600 wide, and I've got a few brackets that I made up there screwed in to the framework, and they're holding in true. So I think after all this, that's the way I'm going to go about it, to get away with anchoring the top of the wall off and providing a good solid wall structure and foundation to be able to fix things to later on down the track. Okay. So I've got all these little offcuts of stud left over. So I figure I'll just go through and cut all them up for noggins. Put some noggins in the walls, just to make it a bit more structural and use up, you know, the offcut. Just cut the noggin to whatever the width is in between the studs, and then added an extra 100mm on each end, so they can fold up like so. And the way these studs are designed, they have a little lip around the edge, and that lip allows the stud to actually interlock with other studs, so they just clip together. It's like a Meccano set, quite easy. Running out of materials, quick smart. That's the basics. You know, you want to pay $1 million, spend that extra money on better material, you get $1 million job. The whole idea of this is to try and build a home with the materials and tools you have at home, just laying around the garage, and doing this build with a realistic budget. I don't have a lot of money, you know. I'm a plasterer by trade and I just make money. I just work hard. When I've got a bit of money saved up, a couple of grand or whatever, I'll just buy a little bit here and buy a little bit there and do a bit more to it. You know, I'm saying that I don't have any debt. I have no debt at all. I have no credit cards. I cut them up when I got my first credit card when I was like 18. Every bank in Australia wanted to give me a credit card, and I fell for it. Went out and got a new plasma television, and got a new bed, new washing machine, maxed the credit card out. It was like, you know, $7,000 limit or whatever. And I just worked and paid off the repayments, minimum repayments for 2 years, and after 2 years I had a look at the statement and I was like, oh, you've only you know, the $7,000 debt was only down to like $6,200. I thought, well, frig me, I've been paying repayments every month for 2 years and it's a hell of a lot more than $800. Why is it only $800 off the debt? And it turns out I've just been paying off the interest. So I've sort of caught on to that big bloody scam, you know, trying to get you to be a debt slave. So I cut the card up, never looked back, never had a credit card since. If I can't afford something, I won't buy it. If there's something I want, I'll work hard. So like this bus, had an idea in my head. Started a big job, took me 3 months. After 3 months I had a little bit of coin in the bank, went out and brought this bus, and you know, the rest is just going to get done as I can afford it. So what I'm doing here, I'll do all the labour myself, all the plumbing, everything, the electrical. I run all the electrical cables and just I'll get someone to terminate them, and the plumbing I'll just do all myself. I think I might just use like an ag pipe setup. Today I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, but like I say, I don't have money, I don't have a mortgage, I rent this house. Everything I do have, I own outright. And yeah, I'm just realistically doing this build with the skills that I have and the little bit of money you got in the bank. And yeah, there's no smoke and mirrors here, mate. I didn't go and get a $30,000 bloody loan on my mortgage to finance this. Nah, no way. It's all done. Knuckle down, work hard, save my coin, and just do it as I can, bit by bit. So, yeah. Hope someone's taking something from this, give them an idea. Hopefully inspire people to say, hey look, it's not impossible. It's not out of, you know, it's not a pipe dream. Something you can do with your own bare hands and a little bit of knowledge. With the help of Google and YouTube. Anyone can do this. You don't need to be a rocket science to do this. It's very basic. And if it's what you want, I say go for it. When this is all said and done, the experience the kids are going to get out of travelling, it's going to help them develop as people and grow into decent human beings. And at the end of the day, that alone is going to be all worth it. It's going to be a big change and adjustment, you know, going from farm properties to a small space. But we'll just do it step by step and eventually make the big move, travel Australia, see what the country has to offer. Being a plasterer, I can just put an ad in the paper or just do a bit of work from town to town. You know, I'm not relying on, I can get work anywhere. It doesn't take me long to make a bit of money. So I'm not relying on any YouTube or anything else like that. I'm just doing that because trying to get in touch with my creative side and help people out at the same time. The way I'm doing it is the most convenient way for me, and yeah, it's kind of like a personal thing as well. It's like, you know, this is going to be a mobile home, a motor home. Certainly my first home that I've owned. So I'm not doing it, you know, and skimping out. I'm doing it and putting some good knowledge, good trade skills into this to make it work and to make it efficient and affordable as possible. So yeah, she'll come together. I'll make it happen, all in good time. So yeah, hope you're learning, getting something, taking something away from it, and yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.